Please kindly confirm you can see my screen. Once you do,
Yes, we can see it.
all right. So, like I want to go over the basics is this. It is always good when you create a data validation for your set of variables in order to reduce what errors. Because yes, human error is one of those things that we experience when it comes to data entry. So, which could mar the quality of the data that we get at the end of the day. So, in creating a data drop down or a lookup list for most of our variables, especially for those that are categorical variables. So, I'm sure, and during the first class that we actually had in this course, that has to do with type of data. We talked about quantitative data and qualitative data. And we mentioned that qualitative data is also subdivided into um, discrete and continuous. And qualitative data has to do with the same thing as what we call categorical variables. So, and one of the examples of those categorical variables is what is nominal variables. So, nominal variables in sense that okay, the variable has attributes. For example, uh, um, let's say levels of educations in no particular order. Let's say gender, and let's say departments, let's say geographical locations, all those things. So we can actually define them. So one of the things that we can actually cause error is that okay, the way in which people entered it. So if the data is not entered in a structured manner, so you won't be able to make informed decision with that data. So at the end of the day, it will be posting error. But you can actually limit the kind of data cleaning that you do at the end of the day if a proper data validation has been done on the particular spreadsheet or the particular platform you're using. Probably you have several platforms now. The most in humanitarian sectors uses Google Collect, and we have REST app, we have Excel sheet, so we have Google Sheet. So now several platforms. So once data validation is in place, so I'll quickly go over it now. So now I said creating a lookup list. So this is a sheet I've created for a lookup list. So there's something I even color code it. I can give it the tab color. And simply when you right click on the sheet, let me give it the tab color blue. Give this one tab color. So we can see the difference between the two now. So now let's say want to I told us several ways in creating uh, your list. Is either you manually input it over there, or another thing we mentioned that okay, you can create a lookup list. And for your lookup list to work, so there are easier ways. There's something we call name range. So once let's say we want to use this supply, I want to create this supply now. I want to include the header. So once I copy this, come here. Let's say I paste here. So I paste it here. So and I said to remove duplicate in order to retain the unique values. You come to your data tab and you click what remove duplicates here. Once you click remove duplicate, it's okay. Is that thing for which feed now? Okay, it's supplier feed. It has indicated what's in the column. And you click on OK. So you only have what seven unique what items or lists here. So this is what you've created one. Let's say we want to have it. So let's say it's for two. I want to create this one. Pick, copy, then come to my list sheet and I paste. So please note that I'm leaving a space in between. I'm leaving a column in between them. So it's actually intentional. It's intentional. So try to leave a space in between them. So I'll explain the reason why. So we have six unique value. Then come here. Let's say I want to create for uh, location 2, copy, come here, let's say paste, then remove duplicate, click on OK. So you have the unique set of value. Like we said, for if you create one thing first you need to do, let's first of all work with suppliers. And I mentioned that the header, you just copied it here. It must be your variable name now must be quite different from what you have on your list. So you can just add X suppliers. Let's say here you have what department, and here you have origins like that. So now there's something we want to create name range such that once we refer to want to make reference to supplier, you only need to call that, okay, this particular column, the list we are calling is supplier. So how to do that is to create what name range. So you apply the name range to that particular list. So now, and I said, you first how to create a name range. You select the list of items you want to create. Then you come to your formula bar, formula tab. Once you click on formula tab, so you come to define names. So you click on this toggle button. So then you create from selection, or you are saying create from selection because we've already select some items now. So it automatically generates what the name from the selected set now. So it now is going to ask you that, okay, you are using the top row. Okay, is it that the top row is it part of the list, or is it the name that you want to give it? You want to give that particular set of that you've selected. Once you click OK, yeah. So, and to know whether it is active, whether you created this name range, you come to this dialog box there, name box here. Then you click on this toggle button. You can see that suppliers has been added as one of the name range. We can let me do for ease of understanding. I will repeat again with this. Select the data, come to the formula tab, come to name range, and define name, click on what? Create from selection. Use the top row as what? As your header. Come here, you see that it has been added. So do the same thing for origins, select, then formula, come to formula menu bar, or click on create from selection, and do the same thing. That's created what? The name for you. So you now have the three now. So, and I mentioned that in order for it to automate, one of the features of a table is for it what to automate. Once you create a table now, that is, you are saying that you want to any selection, any new input that you are inputting as under that table, it should grow into it. The formula, the existing formula should actually grow into it. So that is whatever you have already should actually what the new things you are incorporating should actually what be included. That's the need why we are going to come here, and even without even selecting now, just press Ctrl T here. It has already seen the side of what data. Now it's asking you that, okay, where the data you want to create, that, okay, my table has a head, that is this is the header. Click on OK. And I said, so if you like, can call it give it a table name. But if like now I don't want it to be the table to be styled, I can just remove the styling that is that actually pre come along with it. So you can click on here, come to table style, click on the default version of it. So you can see. And one of the things for you to know that, okay, this is already in table mode. You come, if you look at, let me increase font now. So good. So you can see at this edge, at the bottom right corner, there's a indication there showing you that, okay, this is a table. A table has been applied to this what range. So if you come to department 2, come, Control T, can see the essence why we put the space in between them is that so that it should see each list as an entity, not like okay, it's comprised of what all that okay, supplier, departments, origins, they are together. So the reason why we're keeping that column, a column in between them, so that it sees them as what an individual compartment. So click on this. It's already make it a table. If you like, and give your table a name here under the design tab. Like I said, I remove the format that is there. Then here, do the same thing. Control T. Okay, come here, remove it. So the reason why I'm doing the three simultaneously is for us to be able to at least get it. At least I've practiced it the first time, second time, and third time now. So now you want to apply the data validation. You already have your lookup list. You want to apply it on a particular column that you're working on. Let's say we want to work on the supply column first. Mind you, the reason why we are able to see this sign is because this table already is I've already named I've already created it, that I've already formatted the data to be a table. And how will you know that it's a table already? Look at the table design. Okay. Under the table design, it already the name has already been given as okay, this is an inventory table. So and that's one thing. So once you toggle at the head at the top of the column, once it indicate like this, you select once. Sorry, you select once now. It will select the data, excluding the what the variable name, that is the header or the column header. So once you toggle it again, to select what's called include what the header too. So if I don't want the header as one of the data validation I want to create on this thing, I will click on it again. So it has excluded what the supplier, which is the header now. Then the next thing you do is what? Come to what? Under your menu, come to data. So under your data tab, you come to what? Data validation. Click on data validation. Click on what? uh, data validation. So once you come to the data validation, it has three menu. That settings, input message, error alert. So and I've talked about what the last time I walk us through these different um, information settings. That is where you create your lookup list. You say then you under allow. You click on what this toggle button to say it is a list that you want to create. Select a list. Now, since this is your lookup list, the first thing to do to create it, you press your equal sign. Once you press your equal sign, so you've already created some name range that okay, you now ask, okay, which name range do I want to specify based on this column? Is what the supplier name range. So what do? You press what function F3. It will bring the list of all the name range you've created. No, you just created department, origins, suppliers now. So I want supply. Click on it. Press what? Okay. Okay. So now that it has seen it in such a way that you can see all this lookup value has been all this list has been added to any place within that column. It has been added. It has been added there. So and I said that if you want it to arrange it in ascending order, you can just click here. Want to sort from A to Z. So ascending order. Once you done that, if you look at your list here, it has automatically been formatted in that order too. Another thing you can do is that once you add, let's say you want to add another supplier. Let's say you want to add, let's say another supplier is what Dangote. Enter. You can see that this thing has included, it has grown. If I come here, look up please, you see that is now we have seen the Dangote we just added now. So and that's it. I'm going to perform it again for benefit for it to sync into us. So we come to this guy, then select what your table department. Okay, come to data validation. Come to what's called um, Data validation, create from what? Allow the list equals. I said you press what? F3. So select okay, is the department you want to use. You're applying to a department. So then click OK. Such that if you click here, you can see the department. If you want it arranged maybe in ascending order, alphabetical order now. Click or you see it. Come here, check. It's in that order. If I want it in descending order, maybe I want it to show, let's say, slide. You can see. Come here, has been applied. Then if you want to add a particular list, let's say you want to add mm, adding, let's say another list now, we're adding software. Let's say software. And see, notice this area that has changed. So if you come here, you see that software has been added to one of the what department. So that's how to go about it. So I don't know if anybody has a question. So another thing I want to quickly show us. Another thing I want to show us is this briefly. I just perform it. Let's say you've created some data validation. You've created some data validation. Remember yesterday we created. Yesterday it was Saturday we created a data validation here, and we inputted some wrong values. If you want to see within your data set the what's called the invalid data, you come here, pick or circle invalid data within the data validation. You can see it will circle it. That is, this is an invalid data here. This is an invalid data here. So it will show that this is an invalid data here. Or let's say if you want to remove it, you come clear validation cycle. Or let's say um yeah, let me say that it you automatically detect that what there's a pattern. So and that's the features of what the power of validation once a validation has been set on a particular field. So at this point, if you have questions before I move forward, you can please ask. So Mr. Ade, are we clear on that?
You so much. Thank you so much.
Sorry?
Very well clear. Yeah, yeah, it's clear now. Thank you so much.
All right. All right. Welcome. So any other question uh, from our previous class? Another question. All right. So I think that will just take me into what we have for today. So for week 3, we are actually going to explore exact formulas and some visualizations. So now this will be the objective of for the for the week. So basically I've talked about previously that okay we've covered sorting, filtering, and data cleaning and validation in Excel. So which I just mentioned about validation now. So in this week, we will be looking forward to use some basic Excel functions, which already I've dived into in our previous class. So at least we just go over some of those things and try to explain some concepts to bring light to into any of those areas that I've actually talked on previously. So we've talked about how to use basic Excel functions like sum, average. On Saturday, we explored how to use average, perform minimum, how to use the mean function. We explore how to use the max function, and we explore how to use the counter function and the difference between what the counter function from what the count function. So the counter function we actually work in a place where you have what a text in between. So it will be able to count what the numbers of rows in which okay you have some letters inputted. So now, also in this week, today we are going to understand cell references, and I dive into it on Saturday. I mentioned about cell referencing. That is, we have relative referencing and we have absolute referencing. The only one I did not mention about is the mixed reference, so which we actually look at today. So then also, like I mentioned the last class, that we're actually going to explore how to apply conditional formatting for data insight. So it's part of what we have for this week also. And we're also going to create and customize chart for visualization. So there are several ways exactly you can create and customize your chart using your chart design tool. So then, why this is important is because of formulas and visual enable what data analysis and clear communication. That is, if what said the picture talks louder. So than when you have everything in what in numbers, numerical key. So some things might be looking so bogus or um, so wide for some persons to comprehend. But once we have them in a prayer format or in a chart, at least it's simplified for every other person to comprehend. So then we are actually going to prepare data for what our Power BI, which we are going to actually consider with 5 and 6. So this is basic. So now, talking about keys from exec functions for analysis now. So we've talked about some common functions. That's the some functions. We talked about the some functions. Okay. Uh, we've talked about what the some functions, that is adding a set of values together. And I said before you actually perform any form of function, before you use any form of function, first thing that must actually be inputted into any particular cell we want to actually input the function is what is an equal sign. So you must have an equal sign. And let's say we want to the range we are summing from, whether we are mentioned that okay, this is the range from B2 to B5. These are the basic things we talked about in the first class. When we see B2, what does it mean? That is, it represents what, that is, the data is in what column B and what is in row 2. So it is when we talk about sets. So and then B50, that is, you are saying you are selecting from what cell B2 to B50. So you are summing them up. And I will also talked about another things that you can do using this form. Sum, instead of using sum, you can use the features that we said is auto sum. So, and who can remind me, where do we have auto sum among our menu? Menu list, where do we have auto sum? Under which menu do we have auto sum? Anybody? Don't check if you are with your system. Don't check now. So this is part of the things I've explained the other time, that you need to familiarize yourself with each of these menus. So we have different tabs, different ribbons on this menu. So you need to familiarize yourself with all those ribbons. So these are the basic things that okay, you just want to do, you just go, just perform it. Anybody, if you have answers to my question, you can please unmute and say it. Please, are we together at all? Can anyone hear me? Or probably we should introduce.
I
Okay.
didn't hear you.
All right.
Where
Thank
do we
you.
have?
S- Sorry.
I didn't hear
Where
your
where?
question.
Okay, my question is that on the ribbon, where do we have the auto sum features?
What the song?
I
Like
think
you
it's on
just
the
want
formula.
is on where?
Formula.
Another person. Another person. Do you all agree is on the formula? Some persons are not saying anything.
The
Sorry?
formula bars. The formula bar.
Another person formula bar. Okay. So do we all agree on the formula bar? Please, I need us to participate. So let's make it interactive. We all agree. I think it's one of the questions I'll be asking in the classes now. We all agree on the formula bar. All right. Actually, the answer is no. It's not on the formula bar. It's on the home ribbon. You can see this is where we have the auto sum. This is the auto sum features. Is it is on the home ribbon. It's on the home ribbon. It's on the home ribbon. So you must familiarize yourself with this. So and let me ask another question. Where do you have the on where do you have the find and replace? Find and replace. We talked about it on Saturday. So on which of the ribbon do you have the find and replace? On which ribbon do we have the find and replace? Let me see. I think some persons are. Oh, sorry. Miss Nade, please, can you hear me now? I'm just seeing your message. Please, can we all hear me? Or please, if you can hear me, kindly signify.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, all right. Thank you. So, yes, Miss Nade, please, you try to. You're back. Okay. So, who can tell me where do we have the find and replace function?
on home.
On home. Okay.
Yes.
So,
When you
all right, great.
press control F.
Control what?
F.
Okay, good. Control F for what?
Find and replace.
Oh, Control F is for find. If you want to replace, you can press Control H. Control F is for find. So let's say look
Okay.
at Control F.
Okay.
The Control F. Okay, you can actually that's the purpose is to find. Then if you want to replace Control H, you can see to say find what replace with. You can see. So
That auto sum is also on formula menu.
yes, no,
Yeah.
auto sum is on.
I'm seeing it on
Yeah,
home and
yeah, yeah.
formula.
It's there. It's there too. So basically, majorly you can you maybe for ease of exploit, yeah, it's on. You are right. To, is on the formula ribbon too. So like
Right.
basically, if you for mathematical calculations and every other some mathematical calculations, whether trigonometrics, maybe has to do with date and something you can, and then like I mentioned the other time, how to create from selection is also on what uh uh is also on formula menu. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. So also let me proceed. So like I said, to find we use the find I mean the mean and max to find what the smallest and the largest value simply by using we've actually explored this in the last class by using the what the mean the max function and then the count function too. We've actually explored this count function and I've actually explained the difference between the counter functions. So then our syntax now when we're talking about the functions that is within that is the explanation of all the syntax now is this is the function and this is the range of cells. So this is the functions you are actually applying and this is the range. So also um tips, so if you want to use the formula bar to check or you edit, so like I explained previously that this is what we call the formula bar. Say I'm here now, this is the formula bar. I want to make it broader, I can click here to this is the formula bar. Okay, see this is the formula bar. So here now we have several list of functions. Whatever functions we want to use. Now what is we are being used here is some functions, average function. You see all those formula bar. So here, whatever formula that we've applied into a particular cell will be displayed here for you to what see. So also, let me move to the next thing. Then we talked about I've talked okay. We can use this formula bar to actually edit our formulas that we've actually inputted into a particular cell. So the next thing we go to now, let's see what we have next. So I've talked about this also. I talked about understanding cell references, which is very important the last time. I said we have type of references. We have what's the relative references. We have the relative reference, we have the absolute reference, and we have the mixed reference. So I'll be going over some of these things. So when we talk about the relative reference, for example, purely when you are working within your data set now, um, when you are working within your data set now, let me see data we actually explain the concept I'm trying to. Okay, good now. So you can see here what you have now in this formula, in the formula we have in this cell now. So if you want to see the formula that has been applied, you just double click at the formula. So it is saying what this is relative reference. That is, it's saying what P as a column, that is a P2 as a column, and P as a column, two in what row two. So this is relative to what each other. So and whenever you see, and that's the default place or the default thing we do when we apply a formula. So and I've explained that the last time. So now PG, that is A1 to B1 is an example of relative reference. So for absolute what reference now, this fix when what copied. That is, once you copy to a particular place, is fixed because what you've applied, you've locked. What you've actually done is to lock the column and you've locked what the row at the same time too. So, which I've explained previously. Now we talk about mixed reference, and the mixed reference is that you've locked the row. You lock what the row, that is, you lock what the row one, that is work within that, you lock that row one. Then your column, you left it to move within the column. You left column to be what? To be what? Relative. And then why the word the row to be what? Absolute. So that's why we call them mixed referencing. Or whether you lock the column and leave the row, you lock the column, that is, you want it to function within that particular column alone. That is, you lock that column. That is, work whatever reference you want to make now, work within that column, and then you can move from what column A to A2 to you can move like that. So partial, that is, it's partially fixed. So partially fixed row or partially what? Now fixed row, we fix the row here. We fix what the column here. So use case now. I've talked about how to use this relative reference the last time. We actually practicalize with it too, and then whereby we are applying commissions to a particular value, a particular total amount made by each of the account managers, the ones that we explored on Saturday. So, and I've told us that okay, the shortcut to use to toggle between what relative to absolute is what once you press the function F4 on your keyboard, it to toggle between what absolute to relative, and from relative to mixed, to either whether you are fixing the row or the column. Now, good. So the way I want to talk more tonight, which is what talking about what data condition, highlighting data with conditional formatting now. So, and the purpose of highlighting data with or with conditional formatting is to visually what emphasize data pattern, whether the high or low. So I'll be practicalizing that very soon. So, and we have different options like here now. Let's say um okay, let's say let me use this. So let me increase my font. So okay, hope is more visible now. Okay. So let's say this column now. I want to apply the conditional form. Once you click on the column, come to your home ribbon, come to conditional formatting. So I want it to highlight any cells that is greater than 4,000. So default is what is, so it's actually saying what greater than what 4,000. You can see any cells that greater. Then I can come here that I okay. How do I want it to highlight it? Where's my key? Well, the mouse is misbehaving. Okay. Sorry, my mouse is running away. Okay. So my mouse is open. Let me see, refresh my system.
Why
So
are
now,
you running?
yeah, so I think it's back now. So like I'm trying to explain now, it's it's okay, sorry that I said we click on the column, come to conditional formatting, greater than what set of value do you want to see, greater than 4,000. So it will highlight that particular set. Then you can come here and say, okay, do you want it to highlight it with yellow or come here whether it's green, whatever. So I think I would like it to be whether red text, okay, or whatever you want, but I'll leave it as red. So and click OK to select what those values that are above what 4,000. So now let's say not to clear the formatting now. You come to your what clear rules, clear what rules from what selected cell. Let's remove it. Let's say I'm also interested. Let's explore that one that is less than. So clear whatever we have on the default less than 4,000. Can see. So I like them with what it's green. So you can see in that cell that's I like them with green. Those are less than 4,000. So let me clear the rule from the selection. Okay. So now another thing we can use conditional formatting for. So let's say trying to look. Let me use. Okay, good. Let me use this data. So let's say I like this column. I want to see the top total now. So let's say we want to see the top 10 items now, or the top 10 of this total can come to this top and bottom groups. The top 10, highlight them with what? If you can, it's not just top 10. You want to increase it, whether you're interested in 12, 15, you can change it here. So then I want you to highlight it to, let's say, I like green. Click OK. You might not see it now that okay, it has actually applied it's because we have a large sum of data. So, but if you want to quickly see it, you can come here, just like I explained the other time, create your filter, create your filter. I want to see what has been done. Then create here. Want to see filter by color. You see, it's already giving inside that okay, there's a feed colored what red, yellow. So you can see as I arrange it in that way, based what on the color formatting. These are the top 10 on total amount that you have within that particular set. So you can also clear the formatting that you have. So if you want to clear the formatting, come to your home ribbon, then clear what rules from a particular set. So here I can okay, so not fill. So if I remove this guy now, sorry, okay, see applying the features, come here, the data tab, data window. So this is basically how to perform these operations. Then another thing we can look under that conditional formatting is come to the home ribbon, come to the conditional formatting. We can see, let me click on the particular column I want to work with. So then and explore the top 10% or bottom 10 items. You want to click on the bottom 10 items, it will highlight the lowest 10 items. So above average, you want to click on above average, it will highlight what with those ones that are above average, click OK. So with that, so then another thing I want to show us is what, let's say you want to use data bar to express it. So based on how the data or based on how the values you have within each of those cells. So it's going to give them a data bar. Let's say I'm looking for a field color like this. And see the another way of visualizing your data. See, okay, the value I have here is big compared to this. So you can see where you have big values now. So it will actually uh, show them. You can see this. We have because of this value is particularly big. So you can see that this value is big. That's why we have it what you have it. The bar is what is greater than what the most or other values we have within the data set. So you want to clear it. Come here. Come clear root from selected cell. You've cleared it. So another thing that we can use the conditional formatting to do is about this. You can select whether it's gradient color that you want. Once you select the column you want to work with, you want to format, come to your conditional under the home ribbon, come to conditional formatting. So another thing we can do, we talk about the data bar. So this color scale. So you maybe you want to scale them. So to apply a particular certain color. So color scale, let's say I'm I'm applying this color scale now based on the data. So let's say can see you can use this color scale. So and if you look, say you apply a color gradient to a range of cells, the color indicates where each cell value falls within that range. So it will apply this another form of data visualization that we can actually do. Another thing you can do is to use the what under the icon set. We have different icon set, maybe lighting based on the values. You can see different icons. Maybe I want it this one based on different selection. But let's say I'm interested in using this rating. You can see to rate it based on what on the set of data. You can see some data is having just a bar. Let me increase my font. See what I'm just a bar based on what how big the value is. Or you can see this one is having two bar based on the value. You can see these are some visualization we can create within our data set, within our data set to show that okay, somebody from here now can easily know that okay, I have a large sum of value recorded here. So these are some of the things we can use what data conditional formatting for. So I want to remove it, select the area, click on conditional formatting, clear root from what selected cell. So we've cleared it now. So let's say we want to perform another thing we can do. So we can I've talked about icon sets, whether it's directional or this. I've talked about this, how big or this. You can use different shapes. So please just explore all this conditional formatting area. So another thing, so when next we meet, we talked about now actually explain all this now. So these are the several when next we meet, we'll go deeper into this. So then another thing I want to explain before we call it a day today is this. So how do we apply? I've talked about this by demonstrating how to apply conditional formatting. So I just want to go over them. So do you have different options? You can highlight what conditional formatting used to highlight cell. That is, like I explained the other time, if you want to see the amount that is greater than a certain number that you are actually interested in, or you can use the data bar. I'll walk us through the data bar. The visual bar proportional to what to value. That is, the bar is what is proportional to what its value. So now the color scale too, that is the gradient color, that is it will color it what from what low to high. And the icon set is the arrow and that will show us all the bar or the like bar, how maybe for example, if you remember that kind of bar that we have, maybe probably when we are using a old phone that time, that our bar to show how maybe how the strength of the quality of the network that we have in a particular area. So that is, it setting the quality of what of the values that we have in that particular set. So, and that's what is used for. Then, sorry, take me back. All right, so this is why I'm. So, and talk about the icon sets, which I've already explained. Then, how to apply them. I said you go under the home ribbon, go to conditional formatting. You select what the rules that you want. You select each of those rules, whether you want to apply. Then, remember, I want to ask a question now. Under under which menu or which ribbon do we have if you want to just want to highlight or the duplicate values that you have in the data set, under which ribbon? Anybody want to highlight maybe a particular set to indicate if there are duplicate values within those sets or within those range that you've actually highlighted. So where do we find that particular function for duplicate values? Anybody? To find duplicate values, just to locate where we have duplicate values. Anybody? Where do we have it? I'm still being heard. So for duplicate values, anybody? Please, can we still hear me? Can we all still hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right. So,
One thing
Mr.
about
Adele,
it, I cannot hear you very well. Like, what
okay,
do it come again,
can you hear
please?
me now? Okay. I'm saying if you want to identify duplicate value from a range of cells, that's where do we find the function? Under which ribbon do we locate the function?
From a range of not sure where. You know that so that one we did from formula and
So if you are in front
selection,
of your system,
I
yeah,
think
you
it's on
can.
conditional formatting.
great
Sorry,
selection.
Under conditional formatting,
wait, it's under conditional formatting. So it's under conditional formatting, and this is it here. Conditional formatting, like cell rules, you have duplicate values here. So can we also so what about where do we have the function to remove duplicate values? Under where do we have functions to remove duplicate values? Anybody? You want to remove duplicate value? So anybody? The
I'm
Alex.
guessing it will
Okay.
be under state conditional formatting, but it will be clear rules.
Okay. So if you want to remove duplicate values, okay, you've tried, at least you've tried. Let me call on Alex. Is Alex on the call? Are you there? All right. So um you've tried Saturday. So it's on that data. So once you click on what, remember when we actually remove duplicate. So this remove duplicate under data ribbon. So you can remove your duplicates from this data ribbon. But if you want to see where you have duplicates, you can go to your home under conditional formatting to format to see where you have what duplicate value. So, and then the one you mentioned that if you actually apply a conditional formatting in a particular field, you want to clear the formatting you apply, whether it's the color that you've applied is the one you've mentioned that okay, you come under what clear rules. It is clear rules from what selected what cell. So, and that's that. So I think this is where I'm going to stop for today. So, if you have any questions, please you can unmute and ask at this point. So by Friday when we meet, we continue from here. That is visualizing data with chart. So please, any question at this point? Any question? Do you have any question at this point? Okay, if you don't have question at this point, can you simply unmute and tell me why you are not having question? Is it that you don't understand what you said today, or is it that okay you've fully grasped everything we've actually explored today? So I'll be calling on at least randomly picking calling on us.
Yes.
Okay, you
Actually,
said
uh, I can say that today is the best class for me. Oh. Like I really understand everything you taught us.
okay.
But checking my note now, thank you so much for that. But checking my note now, I remember I circled something. I don't know if let me just say it. There was one time you were teaching us on sales 2015 to 2016. I circled it. I think I was not clear on something then on those sheets. If you can quickly probably remember it, and if not, I will still not waste our time.
What exactly in that
I just circled it and I started it.
okay,
Like
what exactly did you circle there? So let me try and see whether okay.
that was when we were doing this counter function for number and text. So you displayed stage 2015, 2016, but if
Yeah.
the option were actually performing that day, I can't remember. But I know exactly, but because of time, I didn't
Okay.
ask the question.
All right. Was it when we were calculating across sheets?
And after you started with relative and absolute referencing, after that is when we mentioned this sales 2015 and 16
Okay,
there.
I guess I said if you want to get the numbers of account managers we have, that if you use sorry, you can't oh sorry, I forgot I'm not sharing my screen. I'm sharing my screen. So let me share my screen so you can see what I'm doing.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So you could see my screen. So like using the count function to count, if you actually looking at you using the count function that I explained that if you use count options to count in these numbers of account managers we have, to give us a zero because it is counting what uh, nominal values or text. But if you use a counter function there, that is counter function there, it will actually give us what the numbers of what the account managers we have. Yeah. So, and I mentioned that you can use count to count for what numeric values. Sorry. Okay. Count what for numeric values. Want to see the numbers of values we have here is 14. So, and that's what give us the communication between what counter and what count function. So, is this the question you're trying to ask, Mr. Dewey?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Well, I hope it's clear now. So, but I hope it's clear now that I'm able to answer your question. All right. Another person with question, comments, probably not this class or previous, maybe our previous classes that we've had. If you have any questions from anyone of them, I think I can still give us room to ask before call it a day.
Okay, let me just say this. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel, and good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So, just some housekeeping. I just wanted to remind us about the capstone project. This is week. Okay, so we just started week 3